Welcome in, Believe in Commanders podcast. Scott Jackson and Anthony Armstrong, part of the Believe Network, and we are brought to you by FanDuel. Please give us a like, comment, and, of course, follow us. And good to be back with you, Anthony. How you been?
I've been well, man. How are you? You got a little tan about you. I see you.
I was careful, though.
That beach glow. You know, SPF,
I had a sunscreen up. Yeah, I had a sunscreen up.
Reapply. Good to have you back, man. Lake Lewis stepped in, and he was gracious enough to step in and, hold it down while you were gone. I was glad to have you back. There's been not a whole bunch happening with the Commanders per se, but there's been a lot of talk about the Commanders in the news, especially with Brandon Aiyuk and what he's doing on social media and just kind of continually staying front and top of mind. Were you paying attention to that when you're out there on vacation?
Look, man, you scroll your Instagram, it's going to come up. I mean, it's Aiyukagram, or is it Insta Aiyuk, I think is the one phrase I've been using on radio here. Yeah, I mean, like, he can't stop himself, and nobody can get to him, clearly, because I know that there have been people that have tried to get to him and tell him, stop it. Like, this isn't helping. I don't think Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch are going, oh, my God, we better release him tomorrow because what else is he going to do that's good? They don't care. I mean, they literally don't give a crap about this stuff. I mean, it's not moving the meter there. It's not going to get anything resolved faster. He's got to obviously try to get reinstated, and then he can get released. It's that simple. This is just theater. I mean, for people that don't know him, they look at him and think he's crazy, and wonder if there's like something wrong with him, right? Like that he's not coming off like a sane person right now. I don't know if you're an employer, if this is exciting you or not. So I think there's that. Luckily, the Commanders have a lot of interior knowledge about him. Maybe this is just some big improv thing he's doing. I don't know. He's trying to win some type of Instagram award for acting or something. I don't really know what it is. But, at the end of the day, is he going to be healthy? Is he going to be happy? Is he going to be a good teammate? These are the things that everybody's going to have to go through, right? But, doing all this stuff, I don't think it is really presenting that kind of thing for a lot of us. I'd rather him just do all those annoying workout videos that most of the athletes do. Hey, look at me, I'm working out. Well, that's your job. Good for you. Do that.
Produced, and you got all the extra speed added to it.
Yeah, do all that
down.
Stuff. Slow motion, baby. Cut. The high school quarterback throwing the football, whoever.
I mean, I at this point, I'm just like, hey, man, social media is a crazy world. I feel like
it is.
We're living in GTA 6. It may never come out. It may just be, whatever's on your algorithm, right?
Yeah.
But
right.
Ultimately, man, I feel like at this point, my biggest question is I think if he can play ball, everybody's like, great, let's bring him in.
Right.
But I'm like, man, a lot of people will get hung up over some baggage and will be like, nope, can't have that player ever come over. But then you have this going on, and everybody's like, hey, well, whenever he's released, bring him in. We'll be ready to rock and roll. So I just find it kind of funny how it's different and it's handled each different way. But all in all, like I said, he looks physically healthy.
That's good.
You always want to make sure and hope everything's good up top. But looking
a lot of
at
money
some
in
of
that bag of his too.
There was a lot of money in that bag, but he had nothing. Well, probably was an extra bedroom. It was extra closet, but
extra closet.
Yeah. I was looking at the different NFL statuses, right?
Yeah.
And he's on the left team.
Yeah, left team.
He's on that type of status. And the thing about it is that the team still holds his rights.
Correct.
The team, he can't just leave, right? And he's trying to get out. He wants to leave. He wants to be gone. He wants to be in Washington. But it's like, at some point, is there any he's not taking up a roster spot.
Right.
They don't know, they won't owe any money. It's just they could say your football career ends here. And it's just
Keyshawn him as they did with the Buccaneers years ago. Remember they called it the Keyshawning somebody. You sent him home, and you put him on a list, and he was out of football basically at that point. I mean, that's the way they should treat people. So yeah, it's a weird situation. And you also wonder too with all this over the top Commanders stuff. I mean, even though the Commanders aren't the ones presenting it, would this have the 49ers, even if he does get released, say to the NFL, hey, man, we got to look into what was going on here, right? Like what was Washington tampering, what's all this about? I mean, it feels like he's tampering with Washington and has been really for a couple seasons, going back to the offseason where he was unhappy about his contract and was posting the iPad shots of Jaden at practice with Washington. So I don't know, man. It's a weird thing, and I don't know if this moves Adam Peters and the Commanders to be like, "Hey, dude, enough already," or are they just kind of giggling and laughing, or completely ignoring it? I don't know, but at the end of it, I did think what George Kittle said weighed more on me than anything that he's posted, because Kittle's been kind of a supporter of his in the past, and he did say, "Hey, man, good luck with all that." Right? Like, good luck with all that. If you think he's going to be happy, he wasn't happy after he got, a $50 million and all the money that he got out of the Niners, right? It didn't make him happy. So, like, I don't know. Does that concern you too? Hey, maybe the first year we'll all be, bubble gum and roses, right? And everybody's happy and cotton candy. And then, the year he's supposed to get paid, if it doesn't go the way he expects it to, then what, right? Like, then what happens? And as we know, frankly, with this Commanders group, they don't just hand out the money quickly and easily to everybody who asks for it. There's been a lot of one-year show-me's, and even for guys that have had a lot more of a resume in the NFL. And we know what Terry went through last year to get his money, even if you feel like he was unreasonable or not, but that wasn't a smooth thing. So yeah. I don't know. I don't know what his expectation would be here after the first year of the show-me, or if he even thinks, or does he think that because, hey, man, I know the quarterback, I know the GM, they're going to give me a lot of guaranteed money right away, and then he's going to find out the hard way. No, man, that's really not how this is going to work.
Yeah, there's a lot of unknowns behind all of that. The tampering thing is like that. I feel like I don't think there is any tampering. But I mean,
I think he's tampering with the Commanders.
Yeah, he's
maybe
just
the
like
Commanders should press charges against him.
I don't know. They're like, hey, man, we're not in it.
I don't know. It's weird.
I was on with David Harrison yesterday, and he was talking about the Kittle thing, and he was upset about it. He's like, that's not cool. Because he was also lauding on how hard of a worker that he was. Mm-hmm. But, George has a different viewpoint than we all would.
Here's what George has that none of us has. He actually knows the guy and has been in the locker room with us. Yeah. And for all this, hey, man, Jaden hasn't played with him for several years. That was prior to LSU. Adam Peters has not been around him since he's been paid. So for all these fanboys out there that want to defend everything he does, hey, listen to the people that are actually been near him recently. I mean, I'm sorry. I mean, but if you think this is normal behavior and this is the way you get ahead in life, get out of here. I don't care what profession it is. Acting a crazy is not the way to go. And you're like, well, he's a wrestling actor or whatever. Then go to join the WWE then. That's fine. I don't care. But like, if this is supposed to move me to be like, yeah, let's do this. This is not the route to go to get me to say, do this. Sorry.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones where you're like, this isn't going to help you. It just kind of draws more attention to the situation. Yeah. You know what I mean? And it's like, you said, if you just separate the two things, it's like what you're building in Washington, this doesn't align with that.
Correct. That's what worries me. That's a great point. That's what worries me.
They don't align, right? If you bring him in, and he wants to, and then you're just gonna have to answer a lot of questions, as to why you did that and whatnot. And if you're gonna say it's talent alone, then okay, fair enough. Then it better, we just better make sure that there's nothing else that happens. So there's a whole lot of unknowns. There's a whole lot of uncertainty around it. But we can focus on the cats who are on the field. This is Believe in Command, Not Jackson. I'm Anthony Armstrong. Yeah, we can focus on the guys who are on the roster. Okay, so we can focus on those cats.
I like it. Yeah, I mean, again, at the end of it, like if you're one of these receivers that's been busting your ass all off season 2, you're probably like so sick of this. You're like, yeah, okay. Like really, like we're here, we've been doing this. This is crazy. But yeah, I like I said before, I think I wouldn't quit watching this team if they show up with the group that they have right now to start the season. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with it. They've been working together all season. They're building this new offense together. Let's go. Let's see what that looks like.
Yep. Everything else, we'll just cross the bridge if it happens to happen. We'll be here. Make sure y'all follow and subscribe. So, if that signing does happen, I'm sure we'll have an emergency.
Oh, yeah. We'll have the breaking news. We'll throw money on the floor, the whole thing.
We'll make sure this thing is ready to rock and roll.
We'll give out the ticket number. We'll give out the ticket email, all the stuff. Whatever it happens, we'll be there doing all those things too.
Oh man, they would probably have Hard Knocks try to come back. Like, can we do Hard Knocks?
Wait a minute, can we come back? Yeah, right. Like we'd like to change our decision on who's on Hard Knocks. So, I know you want to get in some of these FanDuel numbers. I think they're interesting as we get closer to the season. and get some feels for it. So what do you got for us on the FanDuel front that has struck your interest here lately?
Yeah, sure things. They have a lot of fun different plays that you can get into here in the off season. Like obviously you can look up as far as week 1 and see the Commanders at 4.5-point dogs on the road. You can talk about playoff Super Bowls. They even have their own Rams specials, like the Rams themselves. You just want to focus on them.
Wow.
They're there. But this one specifically is X team to have more regular season wins than a certain opponent. And so we're going to go down this list, and you're just going to tell me when to stop, right? I'm assuming this is obviously worst to first. The Commanders are the team. Arizona Cardinals, Miami Dolphins, the Jets, Browns, Raiders, Titans, Falcons, Giants, Panthers, Saints, Colts. Now we're getting into the plus category now with the Saints. Buccaneers, Vikings, Jaguars, Cowboys,
okay.
Bears, Texans at plus 210.
Texans. Yeah,
you think about in that range is where we're at.
Yeah.
Green Bay, Denver, then Philly after that. So you'd say we'd be in that Texans range. Okay.
Well, I think anywhere from what was before the Texans, the Cowboys, and who else was the one before that?
The Bears and the Cowboys.
The Bears and Cowboys range. I think Texans are going to be really good. That defense is phenomenal. Yeah. The defense is really good. They got to get their act together offensively to be more consistent. Look, Dallas has got a great offense. We know that. They were in front of the Commanders last year. Defensively, they put a lot into it. We'll see. They like the Commanders to be first-year defensive coordinator, right? A guy who was an assistant in Philadelphia, who people thought very highly of in that space. And obviously the Bears were really good last year. But they won by the margins, and we talked a lot about this last year. It was kind of like the reverse Commanders from the previous years. Caleb Williams taking some L's off the field this offseason. He's not going to be the Iceman right away yet. He put himself in the Madden cover, which I don't love. He's doing like a jump pass on it too. It's like, come on, man, like keep your feet planted. Anyway, I don't get it. I don't get it.
For those, he's known. I know, for
but I
bet
you Ben Johnson's like, what are you doing, man? We're trying to coach this crap out of you. Anyway, I would say that's probably the range, right? Like right around there. If you're feeling very optimistic, then maybe you want to go past that and say, better than the Texans or whatever. I don't. I'm not ready. I'm not ready to go there yet.
Okay, so for what it's worth, after that would be the Packers, the Broncos, Eagles, then the Bengals. They have the Bengals. Feeling pretty good about the Bengals this year. Chargers, Chiefs, and this is Chiefs. Assuming Pat's coming back, he's gonna be ready to rock. A couple of our opponents, the 49ers, the Patriots aren't one, but the Seahawks, Bills, Lions, Ravens, and the Super Bowl favorite LA Rams. So that's at FanDuel, folks. If you feeling froggy, you want to go and say the Commanders are going to be better than some of these teams this year, hey, give it a play over there at FanDuel. Shout out to them for being a sponsor of the show.
I like it. All right, so that's interesting. And again, like we have not, we're not seeing anything yet against a real opponent, and probably won't. In the tough thing for the Commanders forecast is we're not going to probably get it even when we think we're getting it in the week 1 of the preseason. Yeah, the scrimmages against the other teams will be a little bit of a peek into it, but a lot of this stuff is going to be, as you know, it's all in for week 1, right? Like the reveal, the big reveal will be week 1.
Yeah, and the thing, man, it's like as players, you're so excited because you're putting it in and everything is working, and you're going against your defense and they see it, and then the things you do, depending on how you are in those inter squad scrimmages, if they work, then you kind of have a little bit more, you're feeling good about yourself. Then if they don't work, then coach is like, hey, we got some work to do. But when you get into week 1, especially that first half, if things are clicking, man, that the work that you've been putting in is really paying off right now. But if not, oh man, it can be tough to try to find your footing. Right? You're trying to figure out what's working, what's not working, because the coaches have to scheme to what they think they're going to get. And the benefit is that David Blau has been on this staff for these past couple of years, and he's seen this Vic Fangio defense. He hadn't seen Christian Parker as a defensive coordinator, but Christian Parker was with Vic Fangio up in Philly. Yep. So if we assume you're going to get some similarities, at least in scheme and style, that's beneficial to have a familiar opponent and a familiar defense, if you will, for these first couple of weeks. So this could work out for him. We'll see how it goes, man. But a lot of preparation, all building up for week one. I'm excited for it, man. I'm hyped.
Well, as you know, there's very like doomsday-ish a look at the Commander schedule, right? When it first came out, oh my God, they got to play at Philly, at Dallas, which just seems overwhelming, right? Then your first home game, you play the Super Bowl champion Seahawks. So the first 3 weeks, we've had a lot of folks be like, oh my God, they'll be lucky to be 1-2, 0-3 seems like that's a given at this point. But as you know, every year is different. That's why they play the games, as we always say. And you just never know what's going to take. The NFL is very unpredictable in that, because we see teams often, especially in this division, there's been very little carryover from year to year with teams repeating as division winners. I mean, the Eagles have been the only ones who've been able to crack the code here over the last couple decades, going back to Andy Reid and then obviously with Sirianni. But they were short timers in the postseason, I mean, after all that this last year. So, I mean, I like to think that the Commanders are gonna be ready for what's in front of them and not gonna come out of the gates and fall flat on their face with all this new look offense and defense. I hope to think this is going to kind of put some juice in this team again, and the fact that they've got so many new faces on defense and so many like parts, like we don't even know how it all is going to work, right? We're still trying to figure out who's the nickel corner, or is it going to be, is it big, is it Buffalo nickel? Yeah, what are they going to show, because they have all these options at safety, and unless they add somebody at corner, what it's going to look like. So I think there's just so many unknown aspects of this team. It's hard to like be either overly optimistic or overly negative about what's going to happen. I just know that they need number 5 on the field.
They do. They do. You have to have 5 back there calling the shots and run the show. Here was a question I had proposed about Jayden Daniels to Lake Lewis, and it was kind of poignant. And I'll take a couple of their answers, at least mine and what he said. So the question was this: on FanDuel, Jayden is second behind Patrick Mahomes for Comeback Player of the Year. My question is, who or what position group has to be on their A game in order for that to happen for Jayden Daniels in 2026? Lake Lewis had said the defense has to be on their A game, and I said David Blau. I put it on David Blau
as
the offensive coordinator. So I ask you, Scott Jackson, who has to be on their A game in order for Jayden Daniels to be the Comeback Player of the Year in 2026?
And you did say I could use position group, correct?
Yeah.
Offensive line. And that starts with the center, Nick Allegretti, right? New offensive lineman. Super smart, as Joe Gibbs loved to throw out that phrase. He's in the super smart category, he had a crazy Wonderlic, and, we know that he knows where he knows he can diagnose the defense and call out the defense, call the protections. We understand that part. The physical part of it, is what is going to decide whether or not Nick Allegretti is going to be really keep a hold of that job all year, or if they're going to be pushing the young buck behind him to get in there. So I think it's starts with him. I like the guard situation. They have a lot. We've talked about the guard battle with Chris Paul and Brandon Coleman, which is a good one. Sam Cosmi is going to be there. And then, of course, the 2 tackles are Givens and Connerly, and obviously Laramie Tunsil, who is a stud. So I feel good about the offensive line. And if they can, road grade in this new offense, I mean, you've seen what this running attack can look like, and that's going to help Jayden Daniels. Get Jayden Daniels out of the edges is exciting to me. I mean, Logan Paulson painted a really cool picture of that with us when we had him on a few weeks back. And I just think that part of it's good. And giving this guy time, right? Like, let him, what I think we sometimes forget about Jayden Daniels, after last year when he took so many hits and things, was when this guy, he can really go through his progressions, and he's a very accurate quarterback. And that's what's exciting when he gets that. And can he be like he can be a fixer? Sure. If the play breaks and nothing's there, he can always get it with his legs on third down. Absolutely. But if this O-line is as good as we think it can be, it's going to open up for the running game. There's going to be play action that's going to be set up that we haven't seen around. Again, him being under center is vitally important part of this whole thing. And it looks like all reports so far is that's been a pretty smooth transition. So I would lean O-line at this point. This is the most important thing to me.
I like that. They gotta, starts up front. If he's not upright, then you can't do anything about it. But the cool statistic behind the running game is that from 24 to 25, there's a lot, about 400, 500 yards less rushing 40 less attempts, right? And a little bit lower on the yards per carry. So losing that aspect of the game was direct impact and made you one dimensional on offense, very predictable. So being under center in the offensive line will help Jayden do some other things and put up some more statistics. So I like that, Scott. I like that. Hell, and with all three of those powers combined, we should get some W's and maybe have a Jaden Daniels, comeback player of the year award at the end of the season.
Agreed. And again, all three of those have been, things that they have worked hard to fix. Defense was this offseason. They certainly have put a lot into David Blau and, as they've said, they're being collaborative. We've heard that once or twice this offseason with this offense. And, although we all think we have a good, clear vision of what it'll be, there's probably going to be some wrinkles in there that we're like, oh, wow, I didn't know if I was going to see that, So that's what's kind of exciting, too, from that aspect. But they took care of Tunsil this offseason. He was there for most of the offseason, which is not always his normal thing, which is great. Chris Paul coming back was like found money in your pocket, like when you go to the dry cleaner, you're like, oh crap, I had a 50 in my jacket coat pocket. No way. Because you thought he was gone. I mean, we all thought like, he's not going to stay here, man. Like, he's going to kill it in free agency. And those whatever reason, those contracts never came. He played very well here last year. Him and Coleman now kind of pushing each other. It's exciting on that side. And, Connerly in year 2, I think is going to do really good things. So, that's obviously to me, the O-line, why they're so vitally important in this whole thing.
Yeah, I love the depth that you have as well, right? You've gotten a lot of game reps from Brandon Coleman, a lot of game reps and a lot of experience for Chris Paul. So, shoot. And then you think the options I'm thinking 6 linemen could be a play, right?
Yeah,
like just finding ways to get these guys on the field, move the ball, put the ball in the end zone. Because I'd love to have some options and some short yardage aspects. Okay, so let's power that rock in there and get some touchdowns, get some wins for the Burgundy and Gold. But let's wrap this episode up, Scott. Let's get on out of here.
All right. Don't forget, comment, like, and follow us. We appreciate that. Part of the Believe Network. And, of course, you're brought to you by FanDuel. It is Believe in Commanders. That is Anthony Armstrong, number 13, former Washington Redskin. You can find him at Rated Armstrong in the X. You can find me at Jackson Sports on the X and at Real Jackson Sports on the Instagram. As well, although I do not throw money on the ground on Instagram. I'm sorry, I don't have that kind of bankroll right now. But I will tell you to get Commanders tickets if you would like on Instagram. You can go to commanders.com for your tickets for the tour, as it's being called this year. Now, I was not told to say that by anybody, by the way. I'm just going to put that out there. All right. So until next time, Anthony, have a great weekend. We will catch you guys next week.
Peace out.